Good morning, everyone. And I want to just encourage you today. So I pray for you that you have an awesome day and that flourishing looks real to you today. But an encouraging verse 1 John 4, verse 28. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear. For fear has to do with punishment, and whoever fears has not been perfectly loved. Such a small verse. And you're like, some of you will not find that very encouraging because you're fearful people. And first of all, I was like, oh, have I never been perfectly loved? Because I can be the queen of fear. Fear grips my heart and paralyzes me and makes me not want to make decisions in my business, in my marriage, for my children, and just like, oh, I don't want to think about it. I just like I want to be, bury my head in the sand, be an ostrich. But this verse is very encouraging because if you love Christ and you know his laws and you know his gospel, you know that you are perfectly loved. So if you have fear, it's not that you haven't been perfectly loved, because my husband can love me perfectly for a human. He can love me as much as a human can. But have I accepted, acknowledged, received that love? To be perfectly loved or to be loved at all, you've got to recognize that love, accept it, and make it your own. And it's the same with Christ's love. To be perfectly loved by Christ, you've got to accept that he loves you perfectly. Acknowledge it and go, okay, I can do this. you know, to be loved, to be perfectly loved. Because fear is what grips your heart. As I said a few moments ago, it paralyzes a person. It pushes your blood pressure up. That's why it gives you anxiety. And there's so many fears: fear of not having, fear of losing people that are close to you. And this is 2021. The whole world is struggling with a pandemic called COVID. Regardless of the other, not even thinking of the other pandemics that are out there, cancer and HIV and AIDS and all those kinds of things, the world is dealing with one pandemic. And fear grips your heart, whether you like it or not. And as the uh, cases rise in any given country, then there's fear, then the cases come down, and people become paralyzed. Economies become diseased and weak, and these things are a problem because fear gripped our hearts, and we did not quite know what to do. And here's the thing: maybe you should look at Christ and go, I'm perfectly loved by you. And I think fear is sometimes a thing that keeps you from doing silly things. Like you don't jump off a cliff if you have just enough fear to stop you, even with a bungee cord attached to your leg. It's not going to happen with me. But fear is the beginning of making a sensible decision. But if you go and have a picnic in the land of fear, you will start actually making silly decisions because you will have no courage. So if fear begins, you have some sensibility. But if it becomes a constant, your courage wanes. And God has come with strong love, and he's loved you perfectly. So you can go out with confidence and courage and know that fear has no place in your heart. So I encourage you, look fear in the eye and go, no, thank you. I'm okay. I can go and do this with God. I don't need you, fear. I just need God. And I want to say to you, and I want to encourage you, embrace that perfect love of Christ. and watch yourself grow and get strong, because that is just beautiful. So go and find your courage and go and give your fear to the man or the God who perfectly loves your heart, and have a wonderful day, and we'll speak again tomorrow.